Hello students, in this lecture series, we are starting the new paper Advanced Complex Analysis. This is an optional paper for MSc second year, third sem. Here, in unit first, we have 5 major articles which are Montel's theorem, spaces of meromorphic functions, the Riemann mapping theorem, the Weierstrass factorization theorem, and factorization of sine function. Before before going before going directly to the syllabus, first of all we recall some basic concepts of topology and metric spaces, which will be useful for the better understanding of concept which we are going to learn in this unit. Okay, so in this lecture we just recall the basic concepts and we'll start the unit from the next lecture. So firstly, we start with the metric spaces. So what is metric space? Okay, so by definition, we will go with the definition. The metric space is a pair xd where x is a set and d is a function from x to x cross x into R. Okay, this is called distance function or metric, which satisfies the following condition for x, y, and z in X. These conditions are d of xy is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, second, d of xy is equals to 0 if and only if x is equals to y. Third one is d of xy is equals to d of yx, which is a symmetry property. Okay, and fourth one is d of xz is less than or equal to d of xy plus d of yz, which we will know, which we know it is a triangular inequality. Okay, so this is metric space. Now we start with the open and close balls. So if x and r greater than 0 are fixed, then ball xr is equals to all y belongs to x such that d of xy is less than r is an open ball with center x and radius r. Okay, and b bar of xr is equals to all y belongs to x such that d of xy is less than or equal to r. This is a closed ball with center x and radius r. Okay, so what this definition says, it says that for the open ball, all the points of x of x are contained in open ball if the distance of that point from the center x is less than radius r. Okay, those points whose distance from the center is less than radius r, that points are contained in open ball and forms a open ball. Okay, fine. And for closed ball, all that points of x whose distance from center x is less than or equal to r, means in closed ball we notice that is the condition is the distance of points from center is less than or equal to r, which means it includes the boundary points of ball also. Okay, and in open ball we have the condition d of xy is less than r, which means in open ball we have to exclude the boundary points. Okay, this is same as uh, the concept of open or closed interval. Okay, we know that in open interval, we we exclude the endpoints, and in closed interval we include the endpoints. Okay, we consider the endpoints of closed interval and doesn't consider the points of open interval. Okay, that's it. Then we will switch open set and closed set. Okay. Okay. So for metric space XD, a set G, which is subset of X, is open if for each X in G there is an epsilon greater than 0, such that B of X epsilon is a subset of G. Okay, is a subset of G. Okay. What it says, a metric space XD, for a metric space XD, a set G which is subset of X is open if for each X in G there is an epsilon greater than 0, such that B of X epsilon is a subset of G. Okay, and for closed set, a set F which is subset of X is closed if its complement, means X minus F, is open. Okay, these are the definitions of open and closed set. Okay, okay. So here we try to understand what definition says from diagram. Okay, for open set, the definition says G is subset of X. Okay, so here G is a subset of X, and each X in G there is epsilon greater than 0, such that B of X epsilon is a subset of G. Okay, so if we consider here, this is a subset of XG, and we take 2 points, one P and second Q. Okay, if you look, the the ball B whose center is P is totally inside the set G. Okay, and if we take the boundary point, then will we can see that its ball is not totally contained in G. So we cannot take the boundary points of G. So by definition, we say that, so here we can, from this we can say that G is open set. Okay, and from this diagram we can we can define closed set. Okay, here the definition says F is subset of X is closed if its complement X minus F is open. Here, if X minus F is open, then we know that if a set is open, then it cannot include its boundary points. So it it doesn't involve the boundary points. So of this F set. Okay. So what remains if we if we partition X minus F and F, we get F as a closed set because F includes the boundary points and it is a closed set. Okay, these are the open and closed set. Okay, then we will see some remarks. Let X and D be a metric space. Then first, the set X and phi are both open and closed. Okay, Second, if G1, G2, G3 up to Gn are open sets in X, then integration of all the intersection of all the open sets Gk is also a open set. Okay. Third, if Gj, J belongs to J, is a collection of open set in X, then G, which is equals to union of all the J sets, open sets, is also open. Okay. Which means the collection of all open set is open. The intersection of all open set is open. Okay. Then we move further. Then if F1 or F2 up to Fn are closed sets in X, then the union of all closed sets Fk is also closed. And if Fj is any collection of closed sets in X, then the intersection of all the closed sets is also closed. Okay. Sure. Now we will see interior and closure of set. Okay. Let A be a subset of X, then interior of A is set is a set union of all the G such that G is open and G is subset of A. Okay. Okay. What is interior of A? Interior of A is a union of all the sets G which are open and subset of A. And what is closure of A? Closure of A is a set, it's an intersection of F which is closed and which is, and here A is subset of F, which means F is superset of A. Okay. And we denote closure of A as A dash and interior of A as int A. Okay. Here some properties of interior and closure of set are given. Okay. First, A is open if and only if A is equals to interior of A. Second, A is closed if and only if A is equals to closure of A. Third, interior of A is equals to X minus closure of X minus A. Closure of A is equals to X minus interior of X minus A, and different dou of A is equals to closure of A minus interior of A. Okay. Fourth, the union of set A and B. Closure of union of set A and B is equals to closure of A union closure of B. Sixth, if X belongs to interior of A, if and only if there is an epsilon greater than 0, such that a ball with center X and radius epsilon is a subset of A. And sixth, X belongs to A if and only if for every epsilon greater than 0, ball with center X and radius R and intersection A is not equals to phi. Okay. Okay. Here we try to understand the interior and closure of set from the diagram. Okay. Here this is X, this is outer X set, and this is A. First of all, we'll look at the interior of A. Okay. This is set A, which is subset of, okay, and these are open sets G, G1, G2, and G3. So our interior of A is equals to union of G1, union G2, and G3. Okay, and here the closure of A. This is our X. This is A. This is F1, and this is F2. Okay, so here closure of A is equals to intersection of F1 and F2. Here we can notice that here F1 and F2 are supersets of A, which means A is subset of F1 as well as F2. Okay, so we can say that F the closure of A is equals to intersection of F1 and F2, and here interior of A is equals to union of G1, G2 and G3. Okay, this is all about interior and closure of sets. Okay, now dense metric space. Okay, a subset A of a metric space X is dense if A closure of A is equals to X. If closure of A is equals to the set X. That's it. Okay. Now connectedness. A metric space XD is connected if the only subset of X which are both open and closed are phi and X. Okay. We have already seen the definition of open and closed sets. What is the definition of open and closed set? So here we look at that. Okay, here. What is open set? If G is open set, if there is an epsilon greater than 0 such that a ball with center X and radius epsilon is a subset of G. Okay. Okay, then we can say G is a open set, and what is closed set? Closed set is if we say F is a closed set if its complement F X minus F is open. Okay, so now what is connectedness? Here, a metric space XD is connected if the only subsets of X which are both open and closed are phi and X. Okay. Then if A is subset of X, then A is connected subset of X if the metric space AD is connected. Okay. Now, what is component of metric space? A subset D of a metric space X is a component of X if it is the maximal connected subset of X that properly contains D. Okay. So for the subset D of metric space to be a component of X, the necessary condition is that it must be the maximal connected subset of X. Okay. Then there are some properties of component of X, which are if let X and D be a metric space, then first each X0 in X is contained in the component of X. Second, distinct components of X are disjoint. Okay, which means the intersection of distinct components, sorry, the intersection of distinct component will always be phi. Okay. Then next is let X belongs to let X0 belongs to X and let the set Dj be a collection of connected subsets of X such that X belongs to Dj for each J in J, then D, which is the union of Dj, which are connected subsets of X, is also connected. Okay, and which means the union of all the connected subsets of X is always connected. And then let G be open in C, then component of G are open and there are only a countable number of them. Okay. If G is open in C, then the component of G are open and there are only a countable number of them. Okay. The next, if A is subset of X is connected and A is subset of B, which is subset of closure of A, then B is connected. And if C is component of X, then C is also closed. Okay. Means which is the component of X is always closed. Okay. And next, okay, what is sequence? Okay. If x1, x2 is a sequence in a metric space xd, then sequence xn converges to x, that is x is equals to limit xn, or xn converges to x if for every epsilon greater than 0 there is an integer n such that d of x xn is less than epsilon whenever n is greater than or equal to n. Okay, what is it? What is given that if for every epsilon greater than 0 there is integer n such that d of x xn is less than epsilon whenever n is greater than or equal to capital N. Okay. And what is limit point then? Then limit point is if A is subset of X, then a point X in capital X is a limit point of A if there is a sequence Xn of distinct points in A such that X is equals to limit of Xn. Okay. This is the definition of limit point. What is the condition? That X is equals to limit Xn. Okay. Then there are two properties. A set is closed if and only if it contains all its limit points. Okay. A set is closed if and only if it contains all its limit points. And second one is if A is subset of X, then closure of A is equals to A union set of all X which are the limit point of A. Okay. Closure of A, if A is subset of X, then closure of A is equals to A set A union all those point X which are the limit points of A. Okay. Okay. Then Cauchy sequence. A sequence Xn is called a Cauchy sequence if for every epsilon greater than 0 there is an integer n such that d of xn xm is less than epsilon for all mn greater than or equal to 0. Okay. The condition, what is the condition for the Cauchy sequence? That d of xn xm is less than epsilon for all n and m greater than or equal to 0. Okay. Then we have complete metric space. Okay. So what is complete metric space? If XD has a property that each Cauchy sequence has a limit in X, then XD is complete. Okay. So we know what is Cauchy sequence. Cauchy sequence is a sequence for which if every epsilon greater than 0 there is an integer n such that d of x and xm is less than epsilon for all mn greater than or equal to n. Okay. So, and what is complete metric space? Complete metric space is the metric space that has the property that each Cauchy sequence has a limit in X, then XD is complete. Okay. So, and these are some properties of complete metric space. So first is let XD be a complete metric space and Y is a subset of X, then YD is a complete metric space if and only if Y is closed. Okay. And second one is the Cantor's theorem, uh, which I think you have studied in the first year. Okay. So what it says, A metric space XD is complete if and only if for any sequence Fn of non-empty closed sets with F1 greater than F1 is superset of F2 is superset and so on, then Fn and Fn converges to 0, then also intersection of Fn consists of a single point. Okay, what Cantor's theorem says that metric space XD is complete if and only if for any sequence Fn of non-empty closed sets with F1 superset of F2 superset of and so superset and so on, and Fn converges to 0. Okay, and here intersection of Fn, all Fn means all non-empty closed sets consist of a single point. Okay, this is the Cantor theorem. Okay, now what is compactness? So compactness, for the compactness, we see the definition: a subset K of a metric space X is compact if for every collection G of open sets in X with the property K is a subset of union of G which belongs to capital G, there is a finite number of sets G1, G2 up to Gn in G such that K is subset of G1 union G2 union up to Gn, which means a subset K of a metric space X is compact if G is the collection of open set in X and it follows the condition K is subset of union of all the open sets. Okay, K is the subset of union of all the open sets. Here G are the open set. Okay, so here K is the subset of union of all the open sets. Okay, and these open sets are of finite numbers. Okay, so K is subset of union of all the open sets. Okay, what is the required condition here? Here that K must be the subset of union of all the open sets. Okay, so this is the condition for compactness. Okay, we say that, and then the collection of set G satisfying this condition that K is subset of union of all open sets is called cover of K. Okay, and which means here the union of G, that is union of all the open set, is the cover of K, and if each member of G, that is each each subset G is an open set, then we can say that this is that the union of all open sets is the open cover of K. Okay, okay. So what is the cover of K? Cover of K is the union of sets G. Okay, and the open cover of K is the union of open set G. Okay, this that's all. Okay, now some properties. Let K be let K be the compact subset of X, then K is closed. Okay, and if F is closed and F is subset of K, then F is compact. Remember all the properties which we are revising now, because we have to use these properties in in the next lecture or next in our syllabus. Okay, so what is the property that let K be a compact subset of X, then K is closed, and if F is closed and F is subset of K, then F is compact. Okay. Second, every compact metric space is complete. Okay. We have seen the definition of complete metric space. What is that? That there must the condition is that the each Cauchy sequence must has the limit in X. Then we can say that that metric space is a complete metric space if each Cauchy sequence has limit in X. Okay, so and here what our property says, our property says that every compact metric space is a complete metric space. Okay, which means for every compact metric space there is an Cauchy sequence which has the limit in X. Okay, and third one is if X is compact, then every infinite set has a limit point in X. Okay. Okay. So next is analytic function. Okay. So what is an analytic function? A function f from G to C is analytic if f is continuously differentiable on G. Okay. Here G is the subset of X. Okay. And this mapping, we define this mapping f from G to C is analytic if f is continuously differentiable on G. What is continuously differentiable? Okay, what is meant by continuously differentiable? So, if G is an open set in C and f from G to C and f maps from G to C and f is also differentiable on G, then f dash of A defines a function f dash from G to C such that if f dash is continuous, then we can say that f is continuously differentiable. Okay, okay. What is continuously differentiable here? That if if f dash exists and it is continuous over that set, okay, then we can say that f is continuously differentiable. There are two conditions here. Okay, the first one is f must be f is first one is f dash exist must exist. Okay, and second one is f dash must be continuous. Okay, continuous on G. Okay, okay. Then we can say that f is continuously differentiable function on G. Okay, and what is an analytic function? The function f is analytic if f is continuously differentiable on G. Okay, that's all for today. Okay, we have seen all the basic definitions, concepts of topology and metric spaces in this lecture, and we will start with this syllabus with first unit from the next lecture. Okay, so soon we will start our syllabus, and okay, and have a nice day. That's all. That's all. Have a nice day.